The lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if we fast forward again, after the Spaniard feature, I think it was late 2019. I could be a bit off, but you then had a collab with Rops One, Giddy Up.
Oh yeah. Nah, fucking shout out Rops. He's definitely one of those artists that I didn't hear until I got into the scene. But anytime you put on a Rops track, it's just like fucking banger, bro. That shit's hard.
Yeah, Rops is dope, and I got put onto Rops. I think like Cursor had a tour, and he put Rops on as the Sydney support. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I reckon I saw that flyer rotating on the internet and people talking about Rops. And I was like, this dude looks pretty young. Yeah, I don't know how young, man, but he looked pretty young. And then I saw something on YouTube where it was like an interview of him out the front of his crib or something. And that's when I started to catch on. Now, again, for you, you know, how did that song come together? When was the first time that you guys met and how did that happen?
So I think that's on an album that I put out that I think has disappeared now, but I'm working on putting it back out. But I was basically like, I wasn't in the best place like mentally, but I wasn't willing to like check myself at that time. And I was just, you know, having a bit too much fun recording like in my own place, just like, you know, being able to smash out tracks and stuff. So I hit up Rops and I was like, bro, like it would be sick to get you on a track for this album. And like he was down for it, and so he gave me like a fucking hard as verse, bro, and it was properly recorded and shit. And me in my fucking like stupid phase of just smashing drugs, I just wasn't thinking about how my shit was gonna sound. And I think on the track you can fully hear this mad difference between just the quality of my vocals compared to the quality of his. But other than that, like I felt like that was something that like, you know, I'd put on the mantelpiece. Like, yeah, I did a fucking track with Rops, you know, just because the way he fucking hits on that fucking beat is just hard as fuck, bro.
Now, have you guys haven't done anything other than that one collaboration?
No, yeah, just that one.
And then now if we fast forward the clock for, I think to the following year, I think it's like halfway through 2020.
Also, on that album, but I did a track with Skeezo, and that's a fucking sick track.
Skeez Loren.
Yeah, Skeez Loren. I did a track with him.
Oh, and that's Enter's brother, hey?
I think so. I don't know. I've never actually met Enter, but.
And so on that same album, you had a collab with Rops, and then you had another one with Skeez.
Yeah, and I think there might have been one with Selby as well.
Late 2020, you've done Snow Weight with Babyface Smile.
Yeah.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was kind of like the last thing that you did and you took a bit of a break at that point?
Yeah. I think that was the turning point for me.
So tell us a little bit about that turning point, that transitional point, because to my understanding, like from memory, and it'll be like all over the place, but
I was just a confused little kid.
I recall seeing stuff on the internet about like how you got into, I think it was real estate.
Oh yeah, that was in 2019. So I took a little bit of a break then, and then I took another break around 2020, the end of 2020.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So then just to touch on that first break,
yeah,
where you dabbled in the real estate thing,
yeah,
seems very odd someone to go from rap to real estate. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that and what the motives were behind that.
That's a tricky one. That was just personal stuff. So I was with a girl at the time, and I thought the best thing for me, because I guess touring a lot and being a fuckwit, eating Zans and drinking lean and just smoking cones all the time, wasn't really like creating the best environment for a good relationship. And basically, you know, I was not treating her right, and I thought it would be ideal for the situation if I just leave the rap stuff and get myself, you know, like a job that could potentially pay pretty well. And yeah, so I just, you know, put all my effort into that, put all my eyes on that. I did like a 3-week course or something, like it was fucking piss easy, and got myself a real estate license, and then just hit up like any real estate agent I could find. And I ended up getting one with a agency like fair way out, like not fair way out, but like maybe 45 minutes from the city. And yeah, like they took me on board, and I just started as a sales agent, like just trying to cold call as many people as possible, fucking just being one of those annoying real estate agents. And so I did that for like a year until some fuckwit, probably in the place I worked at, fucking put up on Reddit some shit about me getting into real estate, and just like this whole like fucking blurb about a made up life that did not belong to me. And basically it was just mad interesting, because like so many fucking people that didn't even know me all of a sudden found out about me, and they thought it was fucking hilarious. And so I was getting like hundreds of calls a day from fucking 14, 15, 16-year-olds being like, can you sell my house on 420 Street? Or is this little snow? Is this little snow? And I'd just be like, man, how the fuck am I meant to do a job when my fucking phone is being blown up all the fucking time and I can't answer it, you know? Like my job requires me to fucking use my phone. And they'd call the fucking office as well, because the fucking office number was up there with my fucking face, and I'm like fucking cheesing out for this real estate photo. And yeah, it was just fucking hilarious. Like everybody in the office was like, oh, are you a rapper? Like, oh, like what's your name? And I was just like, fuck, this is so embarrassing, but at the same time it's good, you know. You gotta go through those embarrassing phases to really like know yourself, you know. But
Now, allegedly as well, like, so first of all, so someone's posted on Reddit that Little Snow has transitioned from music to real estate.
Yeah.
And then all your fans and just people that
But it
follow
wasn't
music,
even like, it wasn't even just Lil Snow's transition from music to real estate. It was Lil Snow's dad got him into real estate, and also Lil Snow's dad owns Gucci and fucking like all this ridiculous stuff that I'd already talked about, and how that's not the case. But then the whole narrative just switched to like, oh, he comes from wealth and he's like this and that. And I'm just like, all right, like if you guys want to paint me like that, then fair enough. Like, but you know, like I wasn't gonna come back and be like, no, you guys got it wrong. Like I'm actually this. I was like, it's a fucking, you know, circus out there anyway. Like I'll let them fucking eat their fucking dicks. But yeah. And then so I came back and just fucked with the scene basically. I came back, fucking smashed drugs just as hard as I was before, you know, but I had like a you know, a better sort of quality of life, if you can say that. Like I wasn't just in some shitty 1-bedroom apartment recording like on a fucking shitty couch, like. But yeah, and that sort of took a turn for the worst, and I started getting bad into addiction again, and that led me to then, you know, almost give up completely and just like delete everything I had, because I was just like battling with these demons of like insecurity and like, you know, being like self-conscious about my appearance or my sound or anything like that. And it, you know, it wasn't anything real. It was just the fucking drugs that created this, you know, fucking like made up world in my head. And once I was able to just get myself sober, like get away from all the shit that was, I guess, making me feel like I needed to resort to the drugs, I you know, cleaned myself up, and I've now been sober since February 13th of 2001. And you know, no, 2002, sorry, 2002. I don't want to give myself an extra year. But yeah, so yeah, that was a fucked up journey. Like I ended up gaining like 55, 60 kilos of just fat, just sitting on my ass. And the drugs I was doing were not pretty drugs, you know. It wasn't like I was fucking having the time of my life, fucking strippers and champagne and shit. Like, nah, I was fucking in a dark room, sitting on a fucking couch, just destroying my fucking body, destroying my brain, and just hoping that, like, you know, the dark truth of it is I wanted somebody to just bust the door down and see like a bloated corpse, and that would just be, you know, the finisher. But it was just such a selfish, like, you know, self-loathing like approach to life. And like at the end of the whole thing, I realized that like I don't have that personality. Like I don't have those types of mental demons that will actually destroy me. Like I now know that I'm stronger than those mental demons. And I think people can get there, you know, but I honestly think everybody's journey is different, and some people have a much harder road than others. And, you know, it's at the end of the day, it all comes down to perspective. It comes down to how you want to see the world and what you want to be as a part of that world.
The lesson.
927. Oh, yeah.